Hey, what's up, guys? It is February 19th, and it's the HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith podcast. And today, we're going to get into a little bit of Black history because it's Black History Month. I am film director Imani Shakur from Trinidad and Tobago. I have a great love of history and travel and all that. Chris here is a veteran of the Army Reserves, and he currently works with the VA. He also has a love of history, travel, politics, and all that. And together we are the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur and Smith. And we have a motto: we just like to tell the truth. It's not pro any race. If the truth offends you, we're sorry, not sorry. And that's our motto for those of you who are joining us for the first time. Today's show, you know what? Because it's Black History Month, I think I'm going to, we have this segment that we do, guys, called This Day in History. So this show is the history of Black History Month. But for the next two shows until the month of February, I'm going to do This Day in History first, the Black History first. Okay. So I'm going to go over some historical Black history facts that happened February 19th, and then we'll ask Smith here how he's been, and then we'll get into the show. because it's Black History Month all month, which I'm not sure if I agree with, which we'll talk about once I give the presentation on what the month actually is. Yeah, so let's get into it. Today, February 19th, back in, I actually picked a few cool ones. Back in 1992, John Singleton, let's get into it. John Singleton, the first African-American director to be nominated for the Academy Award, is nominated for Best Director and Best Screenplay for his film Boys in the Hood.
Rest in peace. Yeah,
rest in peace to John. I actually met John before. As I told you guys, I'm a film director. I've actually met John a few times. And whenever I would see him, it would always be this weird kind of thing with he and I.
Yeah. And
one of my buddies used to always laugh about it. For those of you who are 30s and 40s and up, Raj from What's Happening and What's Happening Now, he would be with me, and he knew John too. And he would even be like, yeah, well, what is it with you? And he always had this weird thing with me. It was so weird.
Yeah.
And I never could understand why. Anyway, yeah, so back in 1992, today was when he was nominated. He became the first African-American director to be nominated for Academy Award for Best Screenplay and Best Director. It's a little bit of history for you guys there. 1940, Smokey Robinson, famous American singer and songwriter who had a successful career both as a part of the group The Miracles and as a solo artist. He was born as William Robinson Jr. on February 19th, 1940. In case you guys didn't know that. That's way too much more to read about him, but just wanted to tell you guys that he was born today, back in 1940. And we usually do 4, so I'll give you guys a couple more. Another thing that happened on February 19th, 1919, Pan-African Congress organized by W.E.B. Du Bois met at Grand Hotel in Paris. There were 57 delegates, 16 from the United States and 14 from Africa, from 16 countries and colonies. Blaise Diagne of the Senegal was elected president, and Du Bois was named secretary. So that happened in 1919 on February 19th. And I'll give you one more. I don't know who this woman is, but I'm sure my mother does. Singer Dorothy Maynard. I think I've heard of Dorothy Maynard. Yeah, I have. Sorry. She died in 1996, February 19th. That was so long ago. I don't even remember when it happened, but I'm sure it was on the news and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, man, that was a four historical facts that happened February 19th. Because it's Black History Month, all those are pertaining to Black figures, whether it be in entertainment, film, whatever it may be, politics, all that good stuff. So that's 4 facts for you guys. We'll have another 4 for Black History Month next week. And as I said, I want to ask Smith how he's been.
I've been pretty good.
Week's going pretty good?
Yeah.
Work is going good?
Work is good. And if I want to interject something. So Black History Month, I have a good friend, went to high school with his a judge back in Milwaukee, Judge Derek Mosley.
Okay.
Every year that I can recall, since I've been on Facebook myself, he's been doing every single day for Black History Month. He posts something about Black history. Oh,
that's cool. Yeah.
So I wanted to read the thing that kind of was really cool that he posted.
Okay.
So he goes, he posted that many people are familiar with the Sears catalog, but not many people know its role in combating Jim Crow racism in America. Purchasing everyday household goods in America during Jim Crow was often an exercise in humiliation for African Americans living in the South. Before the advent of the mail order catalog, rural Black Southerners typically only had the option of shopping at white-owned general stores. White store owners fiercely defended the white supremacist order by making Black customers wait until every white customer had been served and forcing them to buy lower quality goods. In 1894, Sears, Roebuck and Company began sending out 322-page illustrated catalogs. The catalog allowed African Americans in southern states to avoid price gouging and condescending treatment at their local stores. This gave African Americans in the South some degree of autonomy, because now they could buy the same things that white people could buy, and all they had to do is order it from the catalog. They didn't have to deal with racist merchants in town. The company has even been credited with contributing to the development of a unique genre of Black Southern music called the Delta Blues. There would not have been the Delta Blues if there were no cheap, readily available steel string guitars. Sears guitars transformed American music culture by providing the cheapest harmony-producing instruments to the rural South. The Sears catalog offered Black shoppers something that they couldn't find anywhere else: dignity.
So, that's cool.
Yeah. And I'm sure they didn't go out with the intention of doing that, but it's just interesting how different things have helped create sort of equality, or just make things better for some people.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So besides that, what else did you run across this week?
This week.
I know you said work was good. You ran across that.
Work was good, and like I said, I read this thing about that Derek post, and I got another one I'm gonna do too, or maybe I'll do it next week.
Okay, that's cool.
But like I said, he finds some really good ones. I mean, the first couple of years, some stuff he might have repeated, or some stuff I may have heard of, but this one, it looks like he's digging deep into the he's going deeper. So, very cool.
Cool.
Shout out to my guy Judge Derek Mosley. Got to give him.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, man. So I had a birthday last week.
Oh.
I won't tell everybody how old, but just say I'm young.
At heart.
At heart. And
mind,
but you know what?
And body.
Right? And in the gym, because I keep up with the 20-something-year-olds in the gym that I work out at. I do. Matter of fact, most of them I'm lifting more than those guys in there.
Really?
And all that. Definitely. Strong, man. So, but I've been working out for years though. So coming into this gym, just being able to take it to the next level, it was like the next best thing for me to do. It kind of worked out perfect, Yeah. So I've had a good week so far, getting a lot of work stuff done and all that good stuff. So yeah, man. So before.
And when you talk about the gym, I'm trying to put cardio into my routine.
Oh, good.
Now,
yeah.
Because I just would go in, lift.
Yeah.
And then be just like, I'm so tired now.
Post,
So yeah, I'm trying to do the actual.
Yeah. One Saturday when you're off, you got to come in and work out with us over at what you call it? Okay. Because when you do, Dio said he's going to come in March.
Kick my butt. That's a whole
when
different.
You do, you're going to say, okay, I see what they talking about. We basically do the workouts the football players and stuff do. The athletes, the routines you see those guys doing in the gym, that's the same stuff we do.
Okay.
Yeah, all the sleds and jumping and same stuff we do. Anyway, guys, let's get into the show once again. I think I'm kind of loud. It's Black History Month. And just going to give you a brief history of Black History Month. And I got this from history.com. So I'll put the link in the description. Like I did last week for our show on Jesus and all that. And the story of Jesus and all that. I'll definitely put the link to this, but let me just go over it with you guys. It gets really quick. It's short and sweet today. Just like I said, just giving you the history of Black History Month. Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing the central role of Blacks in the U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event grew out of Negro History Week, which I didn't know.
Week.
Yeah, again, and I want to say this before the show, but it doesn't matter. One of the things I like about this show is that I learn something new as I'm presenting it to our audience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Since 1976. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the UK, also devote a month to celebrating Black history. I wonder if it's February though.
I'm guessing not. If they
didn't say it, if they didn't specify. Origins of Black History Month. The story of Black History Month begins in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States, which was 1815 or 16 or something like that, right? Yeah, no, half a century. It says. So yes, it was later than that. It was like 1850 something. So I forget, but yeah, that makes sense. That September, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse E. Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, ASNLH, an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent. So it happened in 1915 when they decided to, known today as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the group sponsored a National Negro History Week in 1926. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Choosing the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. The event inspired schools and communities nationwide to organize local celebrations, establish history clubs, and host performances and lectures. You know what I mean?
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I sort of get it.
Yeah. In the decades that followed, mayors of cities across the country began issuing yearly proclamations recognizing Negro History Week. By the late 1960s, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement and growing awareness of Black identity, Negro History Week had been evolved into Black History Month on many college campuses. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every era of endeavor throughout our history. You know, Black History Month 2020 theme. Let me see what this is. Since 1976, I just read that. Oh, no, since 1976, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. I didn't know that either. The Black History Month 2020 theme, African Americans and the Vote, is in honor of the centennial anniversary of the 19th Amendment of 1920, granting women's suffrage and the sesquicentennial of the 15th Amendment, giving back men the right to vote. In the radical Reconstruction period that followed the Civil War, newly freed Black men made great political gains, winning office in Southern state legislatures, and even Congress. The Southern backlash was swift and marked by the passage of Black codes. designed to intimidate black voters, prompting a call for formal national legislation on the right to vote. The women's rights movement grew out of the abolitionist movement, with activists like Frederick Douglass working alongside Elizabeth Cady Stanton to secure the right to vote for all. That goal was reached with the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Yeah.
So what's interesting is, as I stated, I work for the government, and one of the side things I've done is I was part of the EEO committee. So, and with the EEO committee in the hospital that I was at, we would have we would do all the different months. Yeah. Or so it's not just different. I mean, each month or time period, there's throughout the year, there's something for each minority. Yeah. Or ethnic group. Okay. Or most ethnic groups. So, as they said, they get to choose or decide a theme. And it's interesting that 2020 is with the voting part. Yep. Which
2020 is what did it say?
Which I think maybe
is African Americans and the vote. That's what the theme is this Black History Month.
So it's interesting to I didn't see, because I unfortunately didn't get to watch the Super Bowl, but I heard there was a commercial that Trump put out, and it had to do kind of with, it looked like he's trying to get the black vote and stuff like that. And I wonder if that theme is sort of going, relating to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like probably. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wonder who came up with the thing too.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
But you know what? Now that I've read this and I have a better understanding of how it started, I'm going to refrain from saying what I was going to say, because now I'm realizing that it actually started for a good reason. 50 years after slavery, some brothers got together and said, "Hey, we need to have something that talks about us and commemorates us."
And it was only a week,
right? And it turned into a month. So I honestly think if people knew the history of it, which we just shared, they would probably receive it a lot better. Because I know a lot of our people say, "Why is it only a month? I'm not celebrating."
Or why is it in February, which is the shortest month? Right. Why is it February? That's interesting to think.
Right. I mean, they picked it because of the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it makes sense. So that's why people, it's not some conspiracy. They picked the shortest month because we're black. You know what I'm saying?
And, I remember, again, in high school, we would have in history class, especially during February, the teacher would try to do some Black history, whatever. Yeah. And no one's ever explained that. Right. Like, that's never come out there. Like, so it's interesting. Teachers don't even get to, or, it's not even put in there in a context.
Plus to really understand it within context.
Yeah. Yep. Because all you had to do was just start and go, hey, Black history started because of this, and then
it was a week.
You go into it and you go,
after slavery was abolished, they just wanted to make sure we commemorated the celebration of what you guys did, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, and just like my birthday just passed, just like you can be romantic all the time, just like all the other pagan holidays, Christmas and everything else. There's just a day that they said, hey, try and be romantic. Yeah. Point being, we can study Black history every month. Yep. But how and why this was created, it's great that we had a time designated that nationally and even out of the country, it's recognized, hey, let's look at what this culture and race of people have done and contributed to society.
Especially to United States history.
Exactly. So it's actually a good thing. You know what I mean? It's actually a really good thing. Yeah. So that was good, man. Like I said, that's one of the things I love about the show. I learned things. Like I said, I never knew this before I looked it up for this episode. So it's really good. Now, from now on, I will celebrate Black history with a different intent. Yeah. And motivation. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm mad at myself for never really looking at that part and going, oh, because then when we would do our presentations for Black history, we would pick, one day in the month, we'd do something. Yeah. And it would have been nice to just talk about the origins of it at that time.
Exactly. So, all right, guys, that's our show for today, February 19th. Hope you guys enjoyed it and you learned something about Black History Month. before the month is over. Don't forget to follow us on social media. rptalktruth@gmail is the Gmail if you have any questions. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe on YouTube, ISENT Group Digital on YouTube. And again, you can get us where you get your podcast. And we will see you guys next week. It's the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur and Smith. Peace.